Hey everybody, it's time for That's Game Stuff. This is our monthly roundtable discussion about all things gaming. And it's bring your own topic, BYOT. But before but before that, I think Michael has a very personal question for all of
Personal
us.
question. It's true. We're getting deep in the nitty gritty of gaming, though. I don't know if Alex looked at the chat because he doesn't have the chat on his phone anymore, so he has no idea the question. So he didn't get to think through the question. Hopefully, the other two thought through the question. So we'll go to Alex last. The question is for this week. Our icebreaker question: what are you looking for in a game at this moment? Like currently, not like of all time. Where like what kind of games are you looking for? And then this let me explain the past of this question. From the first episode of this podcast that I wasn't on, Joseph's talking about how he's playing Plague Tale Requiem. That's what it's called, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And he was talking about, he's like, oh God, it's so linear. I just want to explore and go around. And like in that time frame of my mind, that's all I wanted was a linear game. And I just blew my mind. I was like, oh, that sounds awful right now. Mostly because like it depends on the game, really, because there are too many, in my opinion, there are too many games that shoehorn open worlds in that are just pointless. And I'm like,
Yeah.
like God of War. We recently played that God of War Ragnarok. I yelled about it like 4 hours in our games podcast. And it's just that I could play that game to fight things and to experience the story. I don't want puzzles. I don't want to explore unless it's like well done. And I don't think it's well done, that game, or it's something like I don't know. Even Jedi Fallen Order, I don't want to explore in that because it's terrible map design. It's freaking terrible. So there's a lot of games which I found interesting. So I'm gonna go on a tangent, another tangent. Final Fantasy 16 had a massive like press release today. So I watched a bunch of videos on it, and it sounds freaking amazing, by the way. And the creator himself, he was like, we could have done an open world, but we wanted to focus on smaller areas and make them way more detailed and more there for you instead of just making this empty big thing. I'm like, there you go. You're doing it right. You're making this whole little bit. Anyway, game sounds freaking amazing, by the way. You should watch the videos. Anyway, so yeah, so like me, I well before because I kind of got my fix after that podcast because Callisto Protocol is just straightforward. Dead Space, you could argue, you can go back and forth. It's a little Metroidvania-ish, even though that description's overused. But so I got my fix in those senses. But I want to know what you guys thought or what you guys wanted. What are you looking for? Like what do you want that isn't out or that you can't play right now that is what's the word? Scratching the itch. What needs to scratch your itch? What itch do you have? There we go. That's what I was going for. I'm going to Jared.
Oh, dang it.
Nah.
So
You've had a day and a half to
I
think about this.
I think was it a day and a half?
Yeah.
Like Michael, I don't want open worlds so much anymore. It's just like I get it. A game can be huge. It's like it's been done. A lot of just nowadays in general with games, it's like they do stuff to death, like open world, battle royale, shooters, but I just want I've been thinking about it more and more, like because I've been emulating a lot of games. I just want to really go back to like 60 in a 64 era to GameCube where everything was like super creative, super like there's like games like Jumping Flash. Like who would think of making that? Just like this bunny robot that jumps and you like platform looking down, or like something like Chameleon Twist where you like pick up people with your tongue or something like that. I want them to stop focusing on open world battle royales, trying to get everyone into this. I want more like niche things. I want people to just like take chances and like make a wacky game. It doesn't have to be so like straightforward. I just want some creativity. It's just like everything's copy and paste these days. Um, and pretty much like all I can look forward to in games is like, oh, it has a good story. Like, woo, I can read a book. I can go to the movie theaters. I want to play something. I want to play a game. And then yeah, just and then so a couple days ago I started Digimon Cyber Sleuth, and I was talking to Carlos about this. I cannot stand a game that doesn't just drop you into a world and let you figure things out. I freaking every 2 feet Oh, hey, sorry. Oh, hey, game mechanic. Oh, hey. I was like, shut up. Let me play the
Yeah.
game.
Oh, you're
So
gonna. So apparently, the what was it? The timer for cutscenes in Final Fantasy 16 were like up to 11 hours. That's what they're saying. It's like 11 hours of cutscene for the main story. I was like, "Are
My
you kidding me?"
goodness.
That was insane. They have a lot of weird stuff for the game, but it's made by
yeah.
the dude that made Final Fantasy 14, like the fixed Fantasy
Oh
14
yeah.
MMO. And
Mhm.
so anybody's bringing like the guy who did combat for Dragon's Dogma and Devil May Cry 5 and stuff like that. He's doing the combat. Like all these weird people are doing this hodgepodge. I don't know. I'm interested in it, but sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just let me figure out a game again. Like, especially with the internet nowadays, it's not like we're gonna go years without figuring it out. So don't talk to me. Drop me in. Let me just play the game. That's what I want.
Yeah, that was like my game of the year last year was Tunic, and that game is old school in the way it drops you in, and you have to like unlock the instruction book as you go along with it, which is a real cool idea. Um, for me, I mean, I totally get the whole open world criticism because like I'll be in a game and I'll be like in an area and I was like, it'd be cool if they put something here, but it's just like a big empty space that is here for no reason. But I do like long games. I like a lot of content. Another game of the year for me was Like a Dragon, and that has tons of content. And it just feels like you get your money's worth when there's like just so much stuff to do in the game. The new Like a Dragon came out. It's like a prequel, or it takes place in feudal Japan or something like that. So I haven't seen much gameplay of that, but it's
Yeah, I haven't heard
definitely
much about it at all.
yeah, it's definitely something I would want to check out. Um, yeah, and like Jared, I totally agree with the story stuff. I want the story to be told through the gameplay. I don't necessarily want a lot of cutscenes, and even though like a Dragon has a ton of cutscenes, I mean, those games you have to like put the controller down and watch like an hour movie like during
Jeez.
the cutscene. Um, but yeah, I like the story to be told more through the gameplay than the actual like a story. I mean, I come from the age where like 8-bit, 16-bit games we had to kind of like make up the story for ourselves because there wasn't always a lot of text or anything like that. Um, but yeah, so long games stuff, games that give you a lot of like side quests. I love side quests. I love. I know some people get tired of side quests. I'm one of those guys that will just like do a ton of. I'll talk about a game later, but I'll do like a ton of side quests and just kind of forget about the story. Um, and I forget what it's called, but it's in the Yakuza world. It's the detective one. Um, that one I didn't even finish the main story because I was just doing all the side quests the whole time. But yeah, that's it. Got to be long, and it's got to be interesting, and it's got to give me a lot of stuff to do. So that would be my answer.
Sorry, real fast. My cat was playing with things I've told her not to. So I didn't go deal with that. Did you say you want longer games?
Yeah,
Yeah, he said he likes long games.
Really?
yeah.
There's now that I'm older, if I know a game's long, like say you're like, hey, play Persona 5. I struggle so hard to start games if I know they're
Yeah.
long.
That's what I'm kind of afraid of, like Final Fantasy 16 and stuff like that. Like I know Resident Evil 4 is coming up. That'll be short. Zelda, you could probably do at your own pace. That'll be
Yeah.
big, and there's plenty of doing it. But you can also like mainline if you need to. But
I do
Final
like
Fantasy
short
16 is
games
great.
like peppered in there, like inside those games. Those games are great. A game you can play in one sitting is always good.
Yeah.
But I feel like you get your money's worth when it's a really long game.
Yeah.
Okay, Alex.
Did you already say what you wanted, Michael?
Not really.
Oh, I
Kinda-
know. He just
kinda said-
introduced it.
Yeah, because I just said like at the time I wanted straightforward games. But my main thing is I just want like new things. Like Jared was kind of going on the thing that I feel like is a big issue because it's such a money like attraction is like, like free to play, always online, or I was watching a video of the yesterday of Game Rinks on YouTube, and they were just kind of talking about games that just like flopped or were so controversial at the beginning, and like they brought up Anthem. I'm like, God, what a disappointment! Like then, and that kind of like that racing to try and be another Destiny in that time, because that was that Destiny was the big thing that was before like Battle Royales really hit hard, and it was like that was right before Apex came out. I think that came out right before Apex. I can't remember, but and it's just like that the idea of all of that just copycatting. I'm like, oh, I want fresh things. Like even with some things like stuff in games where I'm done. I'm done with last gen consoles. Like Final Fantasy 16, they said this game cannot exist on last gen consoles. So, or well, I guess it's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So like, we can't do it. We're not doing it. It's not happening.
Good.
And so like things like in God of War Ragnarok, like you shimmy 24/7 through that game. Like it's like, oh, here's the loading screen. Something like that. Or even like climbing games. I'm done climbing games. I don't even think that's a loading thing. It's just like a gameplay mechanic where you're like, you're like monkeying along the little pre-carved pathway. I'm done with it. I'm so tired of it. It's just that is a gameplay mechanic that needs to be done.
Just ruins the pacing.
Yeah, it's just like I don't want to hold a direction and just wait for you to get around and up, even if it's cinematic wonderful. Like it's been done. Well,
isn't that going to be on Zelda though? Doesn't Zelda do a lot?
It's fun in
Zelda's
Zelda.
like Breath of the Wild is climb your own way. Like it's not this set path. It's not like it's like I'd rather just watch like let me eat some chips and do a cinematic where you're climbing around. I don't care. Although that is an interesting thing because I always thought I was like I don't like QuickTime events. I'm like why just show me the cutscene and move on.
Yeah.
And so when I was platinuming Callisto Protocol on the last playthrough I did, I just set it to where the accessibility features I didn't have to do anything, and so there were no QuickTime events. And I was like,
dude, QuickTime events is so like 2014. It's like kind of like why are you? When I see it, I'm like, I kind of laugh. I'm like, really?
The worst is when they surprise you because you're like, oh, this is a cutscene. So I'm just and then all of a sudden, quick time, and you're like, oh no, I missed.
But I was surprised that I felt something lacking in those gameplay experience, like in that scene. Like I don't know if it was just like the weird slowness of the scene that I felt like something was missing because I wasn't doing anything. It was a weird turn of it because I was like, I've never experienced not doing it, and now that I feel like it feels awkward and weird not doing it.
You feeling a little more generous to Detroit Become Human now, Michael?
Oh God, no! Dear Lord. The gameplay of that game makes me so angry.
Some of it is really stupid.
So
sorry. What were you saying?
Anyway, I just want new stuff. This just like that's what everyone wants is new stuff.
Sorry for a tangent, but Michael just mentioned it, and it like got me like angry. But what is with no pausing anymore, where the game is always going, dude? I have to pee sometimes. I need to go.
True.
That's infuriating. Hogwarts Legacy can't pause the cutscenes.
That sucks.
Why? I
mean, I assume you could probably press like the PlayStation button and go home.
That's
that
true, but
it,
it doesn't. It's stupid though. Sorry.
That's always scary though.
Yeah,
it's like,
it's like I don't miss it. I don't miss it.
I did that for Elden Ring when I was like, and I go to the bathroom, I just push the Xbox button and go.
Was it the new Suicide Squad game that has to be online like 24?
That game I do not understand. So we had the state of play this past week, and they had 16 minutes of gameplay of it, and it's weird. It has a battle pass.
It looks like a shooter.
It's like it's not that ground. Like I was watching this, I'm like, what am I? It looked like Anthem with superheroes. They're just like flying around. It was, I mean, the gameplay honestly looked cool. Like it looked satisfying to me, but I'm like, this is not what I expected in the slightest for this.
I know King Shark is like flying around.
Very bizarre. Like I expect, in the streets 4-player. I'm like, how are they doing 4-player co-op, but everyone's just basically in the open world? Like,
dude, that's a game that I think is always out. Like, I think that game has been out for like 2 years.
I've been really looking forward to it because I love Rocksteady. And then I haven't seen that 16 minutes of gameplay, but ever since I heard that, I'm like, no, please, no. I'll go ahead and jump into what I think games need.
I will say really fast, they
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
say it's all just cosmetic stuff. Like that's just for costumes and stuff. It's just their way of making extra money, basically.
I don't even care
Which
about
is
that. 'Cause
my preference of how you do things. Like,
yeah, that doesn't bother me either because they did that with Arkham Knight. Like you could buy skins,
Yeah.
a skin pack. I bought a skin pack for $5. It wasn't worth it, but I did it.
Right, you just wait till the Ultimate Edition and get it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
go.
But yeah, I just mean the whole like online, like open world, like or not open world, but open where other people are playing the game with you outside of your party. Like that sounds horrible to me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the most hyped games for this year for me, or that I have been hyped for. But whatever.
Well, I feel like that one might, because they did say that you can play single player with AI friends, so maybe you don't have to be on all the time. I don't know.
I
but
could
then
have
that's sad,
sworn they said you had to be online.
Because they I don't know if that I didn't hear that hear that, but like they said you can switch between the characters when you play single player, so that'd be really weird if they required that. I don't know. Anyway, Alex, go ahead.
Yeah, anyway, we'll see. But as far as what I'm looking for games, Jared, I feel like nailed it completely on the head. Because, well, first let me mention what he's talking about, how a game won't shut up and won't leave you alone. Like, Carlos brought over, this is years ago now. We weren't even in this house at that time, but he brought over, oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I can't think. What are those games Jackson loves? Jesus.
Fire Emblem?
Xenoblade, Fire Emblem.
Xenoblade. Thank you. Xenoblade
Xenoblade.
2. Carlos brought over Xenoblade 2, and I played like the first, I don't know, 2 or 3 hours, and it was obnoxious. Like it's like a tutorial pops up on the screen every 4 seconds, and then I've heard that that's like the first 30 hours of the game is just tutorials every 4 seconds. And I'm with Jared. I'm just like, shut up. Shut up. Let me play the game. Shut up. Anyway. So yeah, as far as what Jared said, I mean, I love my Last of Us's, which I've always argued that The Last of Us doesn't have this like world-altering story. It's the characters that are good. So like, besides The Last of Us, I can't even think of a story in a game that I actually think is phenomenal. Like, I'm trying to think of any. It's really just characters usually.
Yeah.
Uncharted has some really cool like adventure stories, but they're not like, any Nolan type story that's moving my world or anything. But so I do love those type of games like The Last of Us and stuff, but I'm totally with Jared. Like the way the games are made nowadays, especially like the big games, is that they're so expensive. They are so expensive to make that they can't fail. So what they have to do is they have to iterate on what people love. Like I feel like they have to do it. Because otherwise they're taking an enormous risk. So like that's why everyone copies Dark Souls now, because people love Dark Souls. And I don't know. I'm with Jared with what he's talking about, like the older games and stuff. You got way more creative games. Like people oftentimes talk about the PS3 and how weird that system was, and how I never had one, but I've played games from it since, and just strange stuff. That's why I always, but Jared, you got to put your money where your mouth is and play Sunset Overdrive. But
I did play Sunset Overdrive.
Did you play all of it?
I played most of it.
Bring Sunset Overdrive into
Sunset Overdrive is a perfect example of what we're talking about a totally new type of game. It's not trying to shove a story down your throat. In fact, it is like purposely telling you in the game that the story is stupid. Like it's literally a zombie apocalypse that came from energy drinks that people drank. Anyway, but that game, I just want, mainly what I particularly look for in games is a world that I like want to be in, and then obviously like fun gameplay. I'm a very like kinetic type of gameplay person. Like I struggle with games that aren't like super fluid and stuff with the actual gameplay, but yeah, just more creativity and stuff, which kind of sucks. Cause like, I hate to be one of those annoying people, but it's like that's where indie is now. Like, those annoying people who are like, I only play indie games because AAA games are.
Yeah,
but I was gonna say
some truth to that.
There is a lot of creative games, but they're all indie games, and for me personally, they're always like 16-bit looking, and they're just not the best looking games or stuff like that. And you kind of wish that the AAA studios would make more creative games, just because you get higher production values, but
I will say a game, if you guys have, I know Michael and I have played it, but a game that if you haven't played that kind of fits some of this, I don't think it'd really necessarily be for you two, but that kind of does what a lot of what we're saying, where it's very different, and it kind of tells the story through the gameplay, which is I think what Jared was saying, is
Power
Hellblade.
Washer.
Hellblade. Hellblade does that where like there aren't really cutscenes. You just play the game and you learn the story through the gameplay, and the gameplay's awesome. The combat could be definitely compared to Dark Souls, so I'm not saying it's totally unique. And that was an indie game. It was an indie game that they purposefully like almost experimented throughout the entire thing of like making a AAA production value type game
Yeah, it
on
looks like it.
like an indie budget, and because it looks amazing. But anyway. But now they're owned by Microsoft, so Microsoft's all these big companies are going to ruin them. And I'm not just saying Microsoft. Sony's like, people keep talking about how all Sony's games look the same now, and it's true. It's like they're all in forests and they're all serious and they've all got children now. But
all in forests.
It's true.
Anyway, but yeah, I agree completely with Jared.
Cool. So we should get into our topics for this episode. Who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
I'll go first. Mine isn't that in depth of a question. So I don't really like fishing in real life, but when it's in a game, I'm like, yay. And I want to hear like your favorite fishing, like your favorite fishing in a game. If it's not like a Bass Pro, one of those where you're actually just fishing, but like Final Fantasy 15. I spent way too much time fishing in that game. So I want to hear like your favorite fishing games with fishing in it, and then some of the worst examples.
Easy.
I think I know what Michael's talking about. Worst. So the worst.
Oh, worst, yeah.
Is Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's some bad fishing, and
it's just not satisfying.
Yeah. It gets a little easier when you like upgrade your fishing rod, but it's still not like fun. And then another bad one is not bad, but it's kind of boring. Is Near Automata. I mean, that got.
I ever fished in that?
No. It's not very in depth either. But some of the best fishing. Final Fantasy 15. I don't know why, but like I spent way too much time doing that. And
it's because how excited they get when they get the fish, and it's just like, yes, your bro squad caught a fish, and they're all together in their black leather on the beach.
Oh my god, I just thought about that. That'd be
I love
miserable.
that game, man. I love that game.
Black leather.
Animal Crossing, I like to fill out the log, and then Ocarina of Time, the pond you go to fish, and there's like the legendary one in there. That I always remember that. That's pretty fun, but that's me. So I think Michael really wants to talk about some fishing.
When I said easy, well, yes, the easy bad one was Stardew, but the easy best one is Twilight Princess, man.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever you get to that one, it's like down that rafting thing, and then you get to that little hut, and then you get the boat. And like it's back in the day when graphics and like mechanics weren't that great, but you get into that and that game looks amazing. And then you're paddling, and something even God of War does not do. He paddles on both sides. Whichever way he wants to go. So, like, you want to go this way, he starts paddling this way. This way, he starts paddling this way. And I paddled around that freaking lake for probably 10 minutes, just enjoying the actual mechanics and the animations of him paddling. It's very satisfying. And then fishing in that game is very fun.
Does Kratos really not do both sides of the boat?
He does. When I played at least not in Ragnarok, because I watched, I was like, he just does this the whole time.
Just going in a circle.
Doesn't make sense.
Like, I can't get into this.
It's drives me crazy. But yeah, Twilight Princess, man, it's my answer. Easy peasy.
I'm about to break my rule because I said not specifically fishing games. Me and Joseph had one for the Super Nintendo. I forget what it's called. It's just Super Black Bass, I think. And that game knew how to make a fishing game, because there'd be because in every fishing game there's like a little black like silhouette of like, oh, there's probably a fish there. In this game, you're very close up, and the thing was like this big. I was like, what is it? What's under there?
Yeah, the monster.
Yeah. But that was always fun.
I kind of avoid fishing when they're in the
Joseph.
game. Like in Zelda, it's like not my favorite thing to do. So I gotta think. I do like Animal Crossing. Like you said, they get excited. We're like, it's like
And there's always like puns.
Yeah.
Harvest Moon, because you always get the stupid boot and you don't want the boot.
No.
Oh,
true.
yeah.
And then you give it to the mayor as a gift.
Yeah, and he's like, ugh. And then I think Wind Waker had good fishing, if I can remember that.
I don't remember fishing
I
in
don't
Wind
remember
Waker.
finishing in that
Isn't
game.
it?
yeah.
No,
you'll-
you throw like seeds into the water, don't
Oh
you?
yeah.
Or not seeds, but like fish pellets.
Because you go to the bubbles when you're on the boat guy, and then you like dip it because it had like a crane, right?
That's what I was
Yeah.
gonna say. I had like a claw that would pick up like treasure chests and stuff.
Good,
Yeah.
good enough.
You're skipping the middleman. You're just going straight to the money.
Yeah, Link got industrious.
I'm gonna go with it's kind of a toss up between. I was gonna say Animal Crossing just because it's very pleasing with a little like triple nudge and then you pull. But I think my favorite one was the remake of Link's Awakening. It was like side scrolling almost.
Oh yeah, I forgot about
I
that.
really enjoyed that. But I'm kind of like Joe. Like I don't necessarily like look forward to fishing games, but it was fun. It was very fun.
Which is the Zelda that you can beat Ganon with a fishing pole?
That's Twilight.
But-
You
Oh,
don't.
yeah.
You can't. He like gets distracted.
Oh yeah,
looks
he
at
like
it.
gets mesmerized by it. What are you doing?
Type-
Just
type
like
his
a
back,
cat,
he's just
just-
running.
That's good. That's a
Right.
good topic though.
Do you want to throw it to someone, Jared?
I'll throw it to Michael.
I caught it. Well, before I get into my topic is what I've been playing. But before we're gonna do a PSA because everyone needs to know very, very importantly that Toy Pop is now available on the PlayStation
Oh.
5
Heck
and the PlayStation 4 console system
yes.
as of October last year. Didn't realize this. Was playing Warzone this past weekend. Lost my mind because if you search Toy Pop, it doesn't come up as Toy Pop. It won't come up.
Oh, really?
Like the search result's not there.
Huh.
You have to look. It's like Arcade Arsenal. It's under some other name, and then it's Toy Pop after that. I don't know why it doesn't autofill Toy Pop whenever you just put Toy Pop in. But anyway, as of October 22nd, they put it on there, and I downloaded it. I haven't played it yet because I was waiting for
Your-
Alex because he's out of town. But Toy
Your
Pop
boy
is
didn't
available.
tweet you and let you know.
Shuhei, I
Shuhei.
know, man. Shuhei's let me down. It's
Just
sad.
How could you not
Oh.
remember that tweet years later?
So yeah, true. So I had to put that out that Toy Pop is available wide release, and I'm very excited to actually get my teeth into it. But what I have been playing, we'll do this one quickly because we kind of talked about it last time. But Dead Space remake, Jared and I finished. I haven't platinumed yet because my second game, Hogwarts Legacy, came out, and so we'll get back to platinum Dead Space. But I just have to say this like going into this year, knowing remake is January for Dead Space, and then remake is March for Resident Evil 4, and I was like, oh. Dead Space will be fun. Yeah, that game's great. Of course, like they can't screw that up. It'll be just a fun play. They'll go into 4, and 4 is going to be God change, like life changing. It's going to make the year, and world peace will happen because of Resident Evil 4 remake. It'll be wonderful. But dude, like Dead Space remake blew my mind. Like of how polished, how like tight knit, everything that was like a little laggy or whatever. Like everything's just perfect. Like that game is a 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to call it. It is perfect. The gameplay is perfect. That the pacing is perfect in that game. The only issue, I say 5 out of 5. The only issue is they gave Isaac Clarke hair.
Oh,
It weirded us out because he was like buzzed in the original one, and he didn't talk.
Yeah.
He talked in this one. It didn't really add anything for me. There were cool side quests they added, which I really, really liked in this game. It's like it's not just the main story you're going after. You have like multiple different side quests with like his wife and a couple other crew members and everything. But they gave him hair, and he kind of looks like Buzz Lightyear in a sense. Like he just has
Dude.
this really straight, ovalish head without expression, and then he's very clean cut.
It should have been like Finn from Adventure Time with the like long
Should-
locks.
takes off
dude,
Yeah,
I didn't know anything about like the remake or like what they changed or anything. The first cutscene started, the lamest dude I've ever seen in my life. Because you know how back in the day when it came out, everyone looked the same, like Shepard, him, they all had like
Yeah.
the shaved head. This dude is so nerdy and like 1950s, like husband looking dude. He is so lame. But
Husband looking dude.
Yeah, they should have done like a black and white. And he opens the door to the Ishimura, like, "Hello, everyone." It's like little clap, background clap. Oh, but yeah, he's real ugly. But he has a helmet on. He has the helmet on most of the time, so it's just creepy.
yeah,
Like, he looks too unnatural. To
And
be,
he
like,
doesn't,
everyone
like,
else is
fit.
gritty.
Yeah.
He looks too clean. He looks like he's been a rich boy, like sitting pampered and had like grapes put in his mouth his whole life.
I was telling Michael he should talk like back in like the 30s. Like, hey guys, we're gonna kill some aliens. Like,
Yeah, pretty much. But apart from the creepy hairdo, the game's just freaking perfect. It is visually one of the best games easily. It's just satisfying to play. He does run kind of stiffly though. I'm picky about my runs, and we'll get to that with Hogwarts Legacy because he runs like a freaking lunatic in Hogwarts Legacy. But yeah, is there anything else you want to say about Dead Space, Jared? Because I know you play it with me.
the running did get better when you finally figured out that you just push the button and then you can run.
Yeah, we were stuck on that for a bit.
But yeah, no, it's pretty visually it's amazing, like the lighting and stuff like that. It's crazy good. But yeah, I'd give it a 5 out of 5.
Yeah, and like going from what we said last time when I was talking about Callisto Protocol last time, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of enemies. I'm like, they feel kind of varied, whatever. But like compared to Dead Space, I forgot how many enemies are in this game. There's so many varied enemies. Always a new thing of freaking you out, whatever. And then they just end up throwing them all at you. And there's a few scenarios they changed up the game. They just really they improved everything in this game except for his look. But apart from that, like everything was just up to the ante. So like now it's a big question. I'm like, I thought Resident Evil 4 was gonna beat it, like knock its teeth in, but
Dang.
not in that sense of like Dead Space be bad, but I was like, like Dead Space is just good. I didn't expect much. Like Resident Evil has obvious things they can improve on it. The last part of the game with the island of mercenaries, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But like Dead Space, they improved, and I just didn't think it could. I was like, oh, it's already great, you know. I didn't think anything of it. I saw like an up-res visual, but
so sorry. Yeah. How did you feel about like the 0G thing?
What do you mean? Like
like
how much they added to it?
Could you do that in the original one?
You actually could in certain scenarios. It wasn't nearly. They added way more to it. Like there's a lot of like 0G movement and flying around, and like the whole in the original game, they're like asteroids that are coming to Ishimura, and you have to like get into the thing and you just point a laser and shoot it. In this one, you're outside floating, and you have to like basically retrain these auto targeting turrets to you have to shoot a few so that it knows what to aim for, and then they start doing it. You have to do it 3 times. So it just kind of added to it. It wasn't like mind blowing or anything, but just add a different dynamic. I got dizzy quite a few times, but
yeah, I got dizzy,
like,
and
when it's dark and you can't see the enemy.
I was gonna say I can never figure out where they're coming from. I was always getting hit in space.
In space, no one can see you get hit.
True, but so that's Dead Space remake out of the way. Then we got into the like, what a bizarre game Hogwarts Legacy is. Because like going into this, I was like Alex kind of he said this a lot going up into it because this game had made Disney Infinity before this. It's like he's like I don't know what is going to be in this game, like how well is it going to be, or like how well developed and everything, how fleshed out is the world going to be. And I feel like me going to this game, like I was like, oh, the combat looked kind of wonky, like the cast looks great, visuals look great. I'm very interested to see it, but like genuinely everything has blown my mind about this game. Like I still cannot make it around the castle without a guide. Like I have to make a marker because I don't know where I'm going. It's so big. And then you get out of the castle and the world, this is your game, Joseph. There are side quests upon side quests upon side quests upon side quests. The map is absolutely massive. It's like the Hogwarts grounds and it goes down into villages and everything. It's Hogmeets up here and it just keeps going down. I'm just now getting into the bottom like third of the game and it's been weeks. And it's like, everything, the detail of this game is absolutely freaking insane. And it's not just like okay, so there are a lot of like not I don't even want to put it as filler because to me like the little puzzles they put in are always interesting and they have enough varied in there. Like if you just like mainline one puzzle scenario and do all of them in one go, you're gonna get tired. Like there's Merlin trials that are all around the grounds that you do, and it's just like some of them will be like, oh, we got to flip blocks to make the symbols match on the pillar below the block, but you can't do that until you get the spell to do it. Anyway, so like different scenarios that, but they all change. But if you just did that, you get bored of it. But like
It's like the Riddler,
kind of, yeah.
Riddler
But
trophies.
but if you just kind of like I've been doing just like organically when I come across one, like, oh, there's one, I'll do it really fast before I continue on my quest. Like everything is so varied. Like I haven't gotten bored of just the side stuff yet. And I'm like, this is so like not what I expected at all to see this much detail in everything they put in it. And even the story, like how well things are thought through, not only in the main story, like there's a really cool part in the beginning of the game that people who don't I'm trying to think how much they don't even reference that much in the movie, but there's creatures you can't see unless you've seen death. And so in the beginning of the movie, these creatures are carrying the carriage that you're going to Hogwarts in, but there's nothing pulling them. And then spoilers, an action scene breaks out, someone dies, and then boom, they become visible for the guy. And you're like, what? Like, but never mentioned to. It's just like this whole kind of building scenario of just like the world and everything. There's so much detail to it. It's insane. And then like going from the main quest and how well thought out it is. And I mean, there's some really like there are a few complaints I have to where like they really replay a lot of stuff from the movies. So I just got to a point where I'm talking to centaurs for the first time, not the first time, but like dealing with them. And in the books, in the fifth one, Harry and Hermione try and lure Umbridge, who's the baddie in the fifth book, to the forest because they centaurs don't get along with humans, and they try and like
He was a delight.
Hermione's like, oh, we just hoped you would help us. And they're like, oh, so now we're your slaves, like this whole thing. And it basically played out exactly the same in the game.
Hmm.
And then some other centaur comes up. It's like a mixture between the first and fifth books scenarios of the centaurs. But they do that quite a bit, but it's still like forgivable because kind of like weird little nods because they changed up things. But then there's things that like you get on these side quests where it goes into, because in the second, I don't know if you guys know, in the second movie, second book, there's Slytherin's Chamber of Secrets. That's his whole hidden thing. But in this game, they've added these like side things where he's had other stuff hidden around, like other corridors and other things, kind of leading. It almost seems like it led to that point, like in the books, in my head canon, Tom Riddle would have found these things on the way to finding the Chamber of Secrets. It's just this cool lore building stuff, and it gets really freaking dark. Because I mean, they've talked about in the pre stuff how they had like killing curses, unforgivable curses that you're not supposed to use because they're bad stuff. But they like deal with that in like really interesting ways of how this one kid really is trying to do the right thing, but using all the wrong tools to do it. And it's just a side quest. And I'm like, man, this game is way more than I thought it was going to be, for sure. And like, because I thought, oh, we'll play it, whatever, it'll feel fine. Like going on combat, like after the combat, I was like, okay, it looks okay, and it kind of looks a little button mashy, and it can be if you just want to do button mashy, you can do it that way. Like you just press the button, like if you're doing like some combo game, like a Devil May Cry or something, you can just smash the button and eventually get through it. But really, the thing is like cycling in. You have all your spells in the bottom that you cycle through, and just they have different enemies with like, say, attack spells are red colored, and so if they have a red shield, you can only break their shield with an attack spell, or if they have a purple shield, that's like we'll call it a force spell. So like push, pull,
Ninjutsu.
lift, smash. There you go, ninjutsu. I like your shirt. Matches your shirt right now. So the combat really surprised me, and the variations you could do, and like you get later on, not your shirt, Alex, Jared's.
It's a joke. It was a visual gag. You ruined it.
You get a transfiguration spell, so you can like transform an enemy into an item and then just chuck that item at someone else. And it's like these very fun puzzles you can tie into it. I will say the enemy variation isn't there in the slightest. You're fighting the same things over and over again, but it is okay. Because like you're in the forest, you're going to fight spiders. You're in a bandit camp, where you're going to fight goblins or the poachers or something like that. But the combat really surprised me.
They can make 8 million square miles of video game, but they can't vary up enemies anymore.
I know it is one of those things where it's like, oh man, I hope for the sequel they now they have the world. It's one of those excuses you say every time with an initial thing. It's like, now they have the world built. Definitely Quidditch needs to be a second game for sure, because Quidditch is not in this game. They make this silly kind of excuse where Simon Pegg, the headmaster, he's like, I'm canceling Quidditch because I'm an a-hole. And but that needs to be that one. Enemy variation would be really nice in the second one. Kind of, they do have some like they have Inferi, which is in the sixth book, and just a few other things, but those are actually pretty uncommon in the game that I've seen so far. But I don't know. Yeah, this game just it's actual visual detail and like the whole world building is just, it's pretty freaking mind-boggling of how detailed. Even Hogsmeade itself, it's like everything has a shop. You can go in basically any door throughout the castle, any door throughout Hogsmeade. Everything's open to you. You just see anything, you walk in, you can explore it. Sometimes it'll have no point at all. Like there's a room in the castle that just literally ends to a different corridor, and there's just some weird things there. Like there's no point. They just built out everything that they could, mapping out from the movies pretty freaking accurately. And I don't know. I'm very impressed with this game. Definitely, it is game. Definitely, like it's not perfect, and it's not like it is as high as for me because I love Harry Potter, and that's the thing you'll hear everyone say over and over again. Like it is. It's probably an 8 base, but for me, it's like 9.5, 9.5 because of Harry. It's ties to Harry Potter, but it's still like what I didn't expect is it is a genuinely great game, and that really throws me. But yeah, so if you like Joseph said, you like big worlds, long stories, and a bunch of side quests, that's this game so far. Because I still haven't beaten the story, and I've been going on this thing for a while now.
And a hot herbology teacher.
Oh man, the herbology teacher, his name is Professor Garlic, and she is smoking. Everyone. I was watching a streamer, I watched Cloaksy, who's playing Warzone, and Nick pops in and he was like, guys, have you guys been playing Hogwarts? And they're like, dude, yeah. He's like, it's good, right? And Cloaksy goes, but Professor Garlic though, right? And they're like, it's so funny. But yeah, Hogwarts Legacy, I mean, there's a lot of silly stuff. The voice acting on some of these kids is downright terrifying. Like I found, I think 2 or 3 normal sounding human beings. The rest, I'm like, what planet are you from? Like these weird simultaneously squeaky / grumbly / I don't even know how they're coming up with these voices, but yeah. Anyway, I'll stop yapping about it. Unless we want to continue to yap on it, I'll throw it to you, Alex, if that's your topic. I don't know what your topic is.
It was gonna be my topic, and then I was like, wait, that's probably gonna be Michael's, and Jared inspired me. But I do want to touch on it real quick.
Yeah, touch it all.
Let's see. So, what was I gonna say about one of the last things you said? I'm really struggling. I wasn't even joking. I've been dozing during this podcast. Like that's how tired I am. I'm literally like eyes rolling, like head dropping.
Should put a gum in your mouth.
I should have. What did you just say though?
Talking about combat. I was talking about the silly
Professor
characters.
Garlic.
Professor Garlic.
Yeah, the silly characters. So like their voices. I don't know if you listen to Sacred Symbols where Chris just nailed exactly what I'm thinking. Where he's like, it's a good game and everything, which I think is a very, very good game. But he's talking about, he's like, the main character though, he's just like, I'm just tired of playing a wuss or something like that. He's just like, everything he says is like so proper. And but he also, like Michael said, he's like the dumbest main character that he's played in anything ever. Where it's just like, he's like, hello, Professor Garlic. Tell me, what do I need to do for this potion? And it's like, he's like such an idiot, and he's way too polite, like way too polite. I'm like, I need some personality. But it's a very good game. I agree. It's very addicting. I haven't actually played it in a while because I was out of town and then been busy. But yeah, it's a very good game.
I've been watching like some YouTubers play it and stuff like that. So I saw like the first bit of it, and like they're going to the bank or whatever. And I'm gonna be a little rude to the goblins. Like, who takes those people serious? Like, there's like this tough one that pops out, and he's like, "What are you guys doing in here?" And I was like, "That guy's silly." And like, why don't you just kick him?
Kick him.
Well, they have magic of their own, Jared. Just like that.
I did see that he
had
like
the house elves.
He could just use his hands. And
he's basically Vex, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, Johnny, did he send you that picture of him playing?
Yeah, he has on his Retroid.
God. Anyway, so my topic, Jared inspired me. So I was like thinking real quick, and it didn't take me long because I was like, this is a good one. What are your favorite like creator modes in games? So the first thing that came to mind for me was like in most of the Tony Hawk games where you can create a skate park. Or you could even take it as the entire game, like Minecraft. So like, you have a ton of creativity in Minecraft. Or even like a creator mode like Animal Crossing, like the tailor where you make your own shirt. I loved doing that back in the day. I did that way too much. Yeah, so your favorite creator modes. I think overall it's hard to beat Minecraft. But man, I put a ton of time into the Tony Hawk games of making skate parks. I made so many skate parks. I would make X Games Big Air. I would make my own type of skate parks. I would, crazy ones, but then kind of making it more realistic ones. Yeah. So let's go to Joe.
On the
I gotta
spot.
go back to like early stuff. Because there was like an Excite Bike, you could make your own track. There was this game we played, like I think it was on 64. It was like Lego Racers, so you could like make your own car out of Legos.
Nice.
That was
Oh
really
yeah.
fun. But probably Halo Forge, or like Halo 3. I would probably say I spent the most time on just creating different kinds of maps and stuff like that.
I didn't even know you could do that in that game. Huh.
Yeah, I think it's that one. The Forge has been on there for a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like making different maps, throwing different weapons in there, trying to make it difficult for people to play it. I try to think of more because there's definitely a lot of games where you can make stuff.
Yeah, I was trying to think of two, but it was on the spot for me as well. So.
Yeah. So maybe if I throw it over to like Jared, I'll
No,
get
throw it
more
to
ideas.
Michael.
Okay, I'll throw it to Michael. I'll get more ideas.
Jeez. I've never been too much of a create as like stage or something person. The things that popped to mind are obviously like like Alex said, Minecraft. With like I would play in not creative mode, survival mode, and I make these stupid, ridiculous castles that no one believes are actually made in survival mode, but they are, and I have proof. Look on YouTube. Another thought that popped into my head was the old Smash was it
Stages.
Brawl.
Hmm.
It was Brawl that the first stage you create in, but we wouldn't do it for the actual fighting. Like we would make some stages and goof around with it, but it was never as good as the main stages. So what we did instead was, because there were some trophies you could only get by like items that appear in the actual fight you're in. So we would create these, like, I don't even know, because we didn't really use the internet back then. I don't know how if we just made these up or looked at somehow if they were like Game Informer magazine, but we would make like a scenario with a bunch of conveyor belts and a bunch of sandbags, because sandbags, if you punch them, they drop items. So we were trying to get the trophies we were missing out of the bags by having spikes. So the spawner would spawn the bags, they would land on the spikes, and the spikes would pop out items, and we'd try and get the trophies we were trying to get, because we were trying to
Playing the system.
trying to freaking get all those darn.
The only thing I did
so
on
many.
there was make Bomberman's face. I remember that.
Oh, that reminds me of the Mii's, man.
Mhm.
Nintendo Wii, the Mii's.
Mhm.
You could have what?
Michael
99?
made as many as you could make, and he made pretty much the
Yeah.
entire cast of Harry Potter.
I made all of Harry Potter. I made all of our friends. I made random things like Star Wars characters, Chewbacca, Darth Vader, Yoda, freaking stormtroopers. Gosh, I made everything in that thing. Holy.
Real quick,
Yeah,
that reminds me of Johnny way back in the day. He watched our house when we lived with our parents. He was watching the dogs. And yeah, shout out to Johnny because he was lonely. And so he made us, he made all of our friends in skate.
3.
3? Yeah, 3. And then just skated all weekend with us in the game.
While we ran it down. Oh man. And then the last one that pops in my head that is a good memory is Jared will remember this one. When Tony Hawk Underground 2 came out, and our friend James came over, and like it was like the most outlandish character creator that I had ever seen. It wasn't the first one, but like it was like you could make a big, make a purple, make a brown, like just like brown isn't weird, but make them different colors, like teal or something like that. And so he made this giant in Tony Hawk Underground 2. He made this giant pink demon to go skateboarding with, and we thought it was the craziest thing that he could just go out and like his character was created and he would go skate in the world as this giant pink demon, and the thing was massive. Like its upper torso was huge. It was like Johnny Bravo's legs were all small and its upper torso was like massive, and it's such a
Tony Hawk
blowing strange thing.
Underground 2. It's the best Tony Hawk game. No one believes that, but it's true.
It's great.
All right, Jared, what you got for us?
About all I got.
I guess I don't play a lot of creative modes because, I remember like the Tony Hawk map makers. And I guess I'm not creative games because I just make some boring ones and like I put a bowl over there, maybe a half pipe over there. That's good enough.
He just puts a rail in the middle of an empty parking lot.
Yeah.
And it was good.
And then like I made a lot of Mii's too. I made like Majin Buu and like stuff like that. I've spent a lot of time in Animal Crossing, like the tailor shop, and just making a bunch of like pixel art.
Did you do a lot of world building in the new one?
Yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't like even in Minecraft, I don't build things. I just go on like as far down into the caves as I can.
You're like Ben, dude. When we would play with Ben,
No, Ben's way worse.
we'd be like, dude, just make something. But he just wanted to like, he wanted to make the things that other people had already made, like, but not even not even like structures. He wanted to make like the switches and stuff in the game, like the, the automatic minecart stuff, all the. But he would just dig and get us all of our supplies for us, and we would just make things.
Yeah, all Ben would do is look up the most recent duplication glitch and then do the duplication glitch and give me all the diamonds I needed. And I was like, that's fine.
He was just a producer.
I don't know what you're doing.
Dude, I wish I was one of those guys that like you'd watch those YouTube videos where guys made like working Game Boys in Minecraft, and you're like,
I don't get that.
Oh, I know.
I don't know what you're doing.
Lunacy, man.
Oh, another one to mention is Mario Maker.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a huge one. Yeah,
I did
true.
like making it levels on that.
I never made a level.
I never made a level. That would just be too complicated for me because that would suck me down a hole that I couldn't get out of, and yeah.
Yeah.
Good
Take
news.
it away, Alex, because I can't think of any.
That's pretty much it. And yeah.
Speaking of Skate 3, it was creative. It wasn't exactly a creative mode, but there was like a pool, and I pushed like all the pedestrians into the pool. So they just had like all these people just walking around a pool.
How do you do that?
You just push them; they fall in there.
I don't remember being able to push people.
You nudge them; they just kind of fall in. Okay, I guess my topic's next.
Yes,
I believe so.
Played a couple games. Persona 3 Portable. I guess they're calling it the D-Make because it goes to the isolation view that Persona 4 uses. If you like Persona 4 and 5, you'll like Persona 3. It's like barely under Persona 4. You could like tell where they're going with everything. It's the story's a little darker, I guess you could say, but not that the other two don't have dark moments. But I'd say this is definitely the darkest of the games. The cast is great. I wasn't expecting to like the cast as much as I did. They're right under Persona 4's cast. Music's pretty good. It's very dated though. It's got a lot of that stuff. What else? I was gonna say that it's the hardest of the three, but then I got to the end boss and I like beat it like easily. It's got the easiest end boss. There's a challenge mode that I haven't beat, where this if you remember the people in the what's it called, the midnight room or whatever, the velvet room.
Mm-hmm.
The girls that wear the suits, there's one in this one that kind of like challenges you to do these different quests, and those are really hard. I haven't done those. Most of the times in Personas, I don't even like think about leveling up the creatures. I just kind of fuse them every time I get them. I'm like, oh, that one's cool. I'm gonna fuse to that one. This one I did actually have to level up some to get specific attacks and stuff like that. Yeah, I think this is a weird tangent, but I think Persona has the best looking Thor and Loki. I don't know. Like any design I've seen for Thor and Loki, I think they're the coolest looking.
Is that just in that one, or is that?
No, they're in the other ones too.
I don't remember Thor and Loki in the other ones. Or the
Thor's
five.
got like a big old helmet. And Loki looks like a bat kind of creature wearing tight spandex. I forget what Odin looks like. I never get Odin. Just like the old guy. But for me, I'd go like Persona 4 is a 9, Persona 3, 8.8, Persona 5, 8.5. All great games. So I really enjoyed it. I spent a lot of time on it. Probably go back to it because there is like a different main character that you can use. That I haven't done that yet.
He also just uses those PP demons.
Gross. I always use the Jack Frost and stuff. Now that I always have like a different guy that's like my leader. This time it was Thor. Won a lot of battles for me. It's always kind of different which one I use. And then I went over to Hi-Fi Rush. That game that got a surprise release. I didn't like it. It's a rhythm-based game, but it didn't feel very fast to me. It felt kind of sluggish. And then
did you upgrade it at all? And like,
no, I just did the first level.
Oh, okay, that's why.
And then it's one of those games that tries to be funny like every 5 seconds. Every
I feel like that a lot of the jokes hit. A lot of them don't. I'll admit, like a lot of them are just pretty cringy, but
yeah,
a lot of them did hit. I felt like.
Yeah, I got tired of it. I was like, this feels like
you're just being old, dude. You
got old.
It feels like a kid's game. It really does.
Interesting.
What was I gonna say? There is parts where it goes into like a 2D perspective. I really like those. I wish the whole game was like that.
The thing I didn't like about it is you can customize your character finally once you beat the game. And there's after game stuff, like there's these secret doors in each level that you can find, and you have to go back to those after the game, and it adds to the story a little. But I wish you could have like customized your character back during the initial playthrough, because like afterwards you can get like an SG instead of a flying V and stuff like that, and then you can change like your hair and stuff. And there's some pretty cool like costume designs and stuff, but I wish it was like in the initial like playthrough.
Yeah, that would make more sense. It was cool to unlock stuff like that. So then,
did you like the cat?
It's fine.
Shrugging at cats.
The cat plays air guitar and it's adorable. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen.
I did like that. He was kind of like the amp.
Yeah.
That like floats around. Sorry, my voice is terrible today.
It's gone. I just actually watched the cat box episode of Adventure Time where he goes to what he thinks is a box kingdom, and he's like trying to get the two princes to get there. He's like, wait, I don't think this is actually a kingdom. And so it's like it's so adorable because they're just like anyway, that's a show. Very adorable.
Try to get through this last one. I went to a game called Chained Echoes that came out last year. It was created. It's a 16-bit RPG game. It was created by just like this lone German guy developer, Matthias Linde. Very 16-bit. If you grew up playing like Chrono Trigger and stuff, it looks like that. This is one of the hardest RPGs I've ever played. They did a good job, or this guy did a good job making it challenging, because the way they do it is you can't level up. Like, most RPGs you just grind to level up. This one you can't level up until you like beat a boss or you do a certain quest.
Interesting.
So that really amps up the challenge, because you can't just go grind and level up fast. And then there's like bosses that are super cheap. Like, I hate the ones that get to go twice. Yeah. And then they like stack attacks, so they get to go like 4 times, and it's just like, come on, I want to go. I want my turn. I'm almost at the end. There was this boss that not only gets to go twice, but he summons like other minions, so you got to beat them.
That is the worst in RPGs, when they can summon people. Oh my god,
Cybermen.
So these guys get like 5 turns until I get my next one. It kind of sucks.
Makes me think
Um,
of Darkest Dungeon.
it has an overdrive meter during it, so you can't just like use the same attack every time, because you'll overheat and then you do less damage, take more damage. So you kind of they give you like different either attack or a magic attack or like a debuff or a buff. They give you like these certain things that you have to do to lower the meter, just so you're not doing the same thing over. So it's pretty creative the way they got it out of the normal RPG mode, where basically all those JRPGs kind of blend in because they're kind of the same. So it does some interesting things to make it different and make it stand up. Different. The story, it's a JRPG story. Nothing.
Fight God.
Yeah, basically. There's 3 of them, so you got to fight 3 of them.
Oh,
There's people that betray your team, and you're like, pretty creative enemies. There's like monkeys that pull poop out of their butt and throw it at you.
Oh, terrible. I'd kill them instantly.
Yeah, so
Talking about like the boss that like spawns enemies. There is a boss in Mega Man X Command Mission. Not only did he spawn enemies, but they were like elemental based too. So you had to hope to
Yeah.
God that
Gosh.
you had every element. And that was the worst.
that's kind of like Persona 3's last boss. It changes the arcana that it's in, like every round. So you got to beat it once, and then it'll change. So you got to. It's weak to every different element. So you just it wasn't hard. It beat me because of a 1-hit death, and I was like, dang it. So I had to do it twice, but I did it. Yeah, so I might give Hi-Fi Rush another chance.
No, you don't deserve it. Just
you don't deserve the Capling avatar.
Chain Echoes I really tried to beat today, but I'm almost there, but I just couldn't quite do it. I'd probably give it like a 7.9 so far.
Not that 8. You're just holding out for that 8.
Yeah, it's missing that one little thing. I do like that you get a base and you can you recruit more people to make the base.
Oh, I thought he meant like.
I know,
Oh,
I did too.
It was like
Not
Cat's
Hi-Fi
avatar.
Rush. I like that. That made me think of what was it? What was Shadow of Mordor's sequel?
Shadow of War.
Yeah,
Which we
that
don't just talk about.
disappointing game. But the Nemesis system is really cool in that.
I know, dude. Apparently, they're making a Wonder Woman game, and that's supposed to be in it. And I'm like, interesting.
They need to use it in something because that's really
Yeah,
cool.
it really
I
does.
like it.
Need to spread out.
And I remember
everyone
that came
thought it was
out, and you
going to.
guys were just like, so
God.
mad.
Yeah,
The first
man.
one is so good, and that second one is just poo poo. Just like
Terrible.
it was like the height of like it went uber like, oh, here's you can get allies that are the legendary or the rare or the loot box orcs on your side, and I'm like, and then like instead of having the first game which you had like the 2 main map areas, you had like little small segmented map areas that were like not like world building. It was just like designed to get to the end where the camp was, and then it's like that's it. It was like these weird. It's just
And then it makes you want to play it. It wants you to play it like over and over. And
God,
I don't want to play this.
Not what
anymore.
that game was should have been. It upsetting.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I almost made that my topic about they announced new Lord of the Ring movies, which are supposedly having Peter Jackson in the mix in his writing team.
Interesting. Didn't see that.
So I was going to ask you guys just real quick, because there's been a lot of Lord of the Ring games. I mean, they've been Lego, they've been like Battlefront.
They've had a lot of good games too.
Yeah, there's been RPG kind of BioWare-esque kind of RPG. What do you guys think? What would be a successful Lord of the Rings game for you guys? What do you think?
So you know what?
Goodness.
They need to bring it back to like two towers, but you have like the little circle of like dudes you can be, and like you can be like Gandalf or
Forgot
you
Do the
can
about that.
missions.
yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, I feel like it definitely fits the mold of. I'm drawing a blank. I have War in the North stuck in my head, which War in the North is a very fun game too. But the RPG
Oh, the
one,
one you loved.
the one that I love so much.
Oh, what is
Why
that
can't
game
Third
called?
Age, or the
Third
Third
Age.
Age, like that game. From what I remember, as I was a kid, but I'm pretty sure people still think it highly of it. I can't. I'd have to look it up, but like the progression of how you're basically building your own fellowship and traveling alongside. You're like given some side quest that aids the main team, and you kind of come in contact. Like you meet them at Helm's Deep and help them fight, and you just kind of bounce through the story, but going your own way. It was a very clever and satisfying way to do it, and just that kind of like you build up your wizards. You get, and it had very very satisfying. Um, it's like in the sense of upgrade mechanics that aren't lame. Like I hate I was actually going to bring that up in what we were talking about earlier, which what I'm looking for games is I want like an upgrade system that I'm excited to do, like things I'm looking forward to. Because now it's just skill trees. I'm like, oh hey, you're gonna get this and this. You just push your little buttons in, whatever. But I'm thinking of like things like Resident Evil 4 when you get your next shotgun upgrade. It's so satisfying. Or um just things back in the day where you like looked forward to actually upgrading. I haven't looked forward to upgrading a game apart from Dead Space Remake in like 10 years. Even that game, like it's just damage and stuff. There aren't like attachments or abilities. Like Last of Us 1 is very much Resident Evil 4, where you're like, oh, I'm gonna get a faster or a better string to draw the bow better, where the shotgun's getting a bigger mag. I guess Dead Space does have bigger mags. I take that back. But yeah, and even in Hogwarts Legacy, like they do a good job of having your upgrades, like they're all attire based, but it's just like RPG leveling. It's just like, or like MMO leveling almost. Like it's like here's your base number, and then you just kind of add up and build your power level. And they do a good thing of allowing you to change the appearance to anything you've ever gotten, whether it's in your inventory or not, which is nice. So you can look how you want. But it's like it's so boring. I'm so freaking tired of that, man.
Hasn't been 10 years, it's been 9. Because Infamous
Since what?
Second Son came out in 2014.
Infamous does have good, yeah, because you got like actual good abilities and stuff.
You
It's very
actually
satisfying.
create great
Did I
powers.
say 10 years? Oh, okay. Yeah.
Cuphead.
I have
It's pretty
I have
good.
one more joke. I want a Lord of the Ring fighter. I want to be Bilbo, and I want to fight like Gandalf.
I just want to see Gandalf wail on Gollum, you know?
Yes.
Just
It'd
like
be like Mortal Kombat.
WWE.
I want to see him choke him out with his beard, just like
Choke him with
Oh,
his weed
man.
pipe. Just
That sounds awful. But I want out.
You gotta make that, Jared.
I am.
Mortal Kombat, Lord of the Rings game.
that's your next animation.
Yay!
They should do that with like Disney princess movies. Like have the seven
Yeah.
dwarves in there, and like everyone, like the little mice from Cinderella fighting in there. That's what
I was
we
gonna
need.
say like cooking with Samwise Gamgee, where you just like
Cooking Mama, but Samwise Gamgee to the top.
just going around looking for ingredients during the war and
Oh man,
cooking stuff.
goodness. But yeah,
Alex, you got any ideas?
we do need a good Lord of the Rings game.
First thing that came up as a joke was that Mother Trucker game, but you're just walking.
Yeah.
And then you get
That's
attacked from the sides.
The fight scenes are all just cutscenes.
Yeah.
The gameplay is just walking.
Do you guys ever play that Mother Trucker game?
Mm-mm.
Very satisfying.
Is there-
So satisfying. You see, like if the bikers jump on your truck, you got to smash them off without ruining your rig. Very satisfying.
or your load. Yeah.
Yeah.
Share the
I've been-
load. Share the load. You know?
I've been so tempted to buy like trucking simulator or train simulator. I don't know why.
Now you're old, Jared.
I know.
I know you'll be playing Farm Simulator on Facebook. All the
Before
other
we're-
nannies.
Before we're too far from it, it looks like the Third Age got a 73 on the Metacritic,
Not as good as I thought.
8 user score. Anyway,
game.
Oh, Michael.
yeah.
What about War in the North got? I'm gonna look at that up because like I love that game. It's great. But then like the original ones were so fun. Even them being like licensed straight movie adaptation
Yeah.
games, they were still like at least 2 and 3 were good. I don't remember 1 really at all, but
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to make licensed games now, I think. Because you they're basically just going to copy some other games, gameplay and everything like that.
That's why Hogwarts, like, it's actually so interesting because it's like a really well done licensed game. Like I really like. I was. What was I thinking of in this? I think I was thinking of like a Star Wars kind of game in this sense, where you're like learning Jedi powers and going through. Because they do one thing I forgot to mention was they do a really good job of like pacing out everything you learn through Hogwarts. Like it takes a while to get your broom. It takes a while to learn all these steps. Like it's not just all here's this. Like, oh, you like just have quests that kind of teach you things as you go along. Very satisfying.
Is it the best Hogwarts or Harry Potter game you've played?
Easy best Harry Potter game. Which the old ones weren't bad. Like they had some good. Like I remember. I mean, anyone who played at the time remembers too, because it was just so campy and cheesy, but so satisfying. 3 was the first time I got to write a hippogriff. Fourth one's terrible. Absolute dog trash game. Because like they had like the castle and everything. The fourth one's just like snippets from the movie.
It's just levels.
Yeah, it's just like weird, straightforward levels. And then they took it back with the 5th one and made the castle. That was the first time the castle was like really open world. Excuse me.
No, the third one was pretty open world. You go on the grounds and, like you said, you got on the hippogriff and everything.
True, but I think the 5th one was just way more.
5th one was more impressive.
I never played any after the 5th one though. I don't even know what they look like.
Interesting.
All
right. Any last words, guys?
Well, there is one more game that you and I played in our watch list, Joseph. Still, Warzone 2.
Oh yeah,
got
it's
reverted
good again.
It got reverted back. Well, okay. Warzone 2 got reverted with all
Calm
of its
down, Joseph.
with all of its mechanics back to Warzone 1. So it's way better than it was, but it's still just not Warzone 1. It's not.
No, it's not. It's not for dance.
That's so painful in my mind.
It's sad, yeah. Because basically the mini game is the game you have to play.
Yeah.
You can't play the big battle royale. You gotta play Resurgence.
Like they need to put Verdansk back.
Yeah.
And I never like we talked about, never thought I'd say that. I was so ready to be done with it. And it's just like, holy cow, you guys screwed up so badly. So badly. It's such a bland Warzone 2 is such a bland game, dude.
It is
so uninteresting.
I know. Oh, it's like a Middle Eastern map. I couldn't even remember the map already.
Yeah,
I already forgot the map.
I still don't know the name of it.
Yeah. The new
Arkansas
map is cool.
Like
I like the new map.
It's too gray, but it's cool.
I like the flow that it has better than it really. Because like Verdansk, the best part was feeling like you're okay. We're here. We're at the airport. We gotta go to the boneyard. We gotta go over here. You had to like your route.
You visit. Yeah, you have your overworld map, and then you're going to the next areas in the overworld map.
Yeah, and the other two just didn't really have. Just didn't have routes for you to take. It's just like survive the stinking airport in Caldera if you can. Okay, so we will see you guys next month. Please subscribe and get some notifications if you want more good stuff. And we will be back with another episode of That's Game Stuff next month. So see ya. Bye.
Bye.